Hey guys, what I want to do is go through a medley of stuff here on the serve. Okay, I have, so many players on the WTA and ATP tour that come in, and I work with obviously mentally, physically, technically, but it seems like I do an enormous amount of stuff with the serve, okay? Simply because from a science point of view, okay, biomechanically speaking, a lot of people don't understand the concept of the serve. And what I'm going to do is just go through a medley of things that you want to be aware of. And it's a little confusing because even a lot of people on the pro tour, okay, they serve incorrectly. Okay, now when we start off, what I want you to understand, when you take the racket back, okay, obviously the palm should be down, okay? How you start is window dressing. I'm not here for that. Okay, the palm is down. This is what we call the power position. Shoulder, elbow. You want a 90-degree angle. Now, here's where it gets tricky. The edge of the racket, when it comes in, if you took a body part, the edge of the racket would come right in at the ear. So the edge is going to come this way. A lot of people, the edge goes the other way. The edge of the racket should be coming in like a halo. But what I'm here to talk about today is the leg drive. The driving of the legs initiate the racket speed. And this is really what 99% of the world doesn't understand unless they've looked at hundreds and thousands of high-speed video. There's a certain place where when the racket comes in, the legs are going the other way. This is what we mean when we say the leg drive should initiate the racket speed. Let me explain. So you get into the power position, whether you stop or you're going continuous. So I'm in this position. Now, it's counterintuitive. What I mean by that, as one thing is going one way, the other thing goes the other way. It's a cause and an effect. So when you get to this position, the leg should come up, and that makes the racket go in. Watch this. I get to this position, the legs start firing up, and that makes the racket go in. What happens? It's very common on the WTA tour by a lot of players. I see this with all the juniors, and it's mainly because of incorrect coaching at a young age. And which we all know, once you get that bad muscle memory, very difficult to change. It's what I call the players leak the racket. So they get into this position, the racket goes anywhere from 10 to 100% in before they start driving. The problem is you can't really see this with the human eye. But I've looked at 50,000 MRIs, I've seen this on high-speed videos, and have been telling people about this for a long time, okay? So when you get into this position, okay, the legs go up and the racket goes in. What most people do, because your arm is twice as long, okay, your arm is twice as long, the racket gets in, oh, and then your legs dry. The problem is you can still get the ball in if you do millions of anything. Here's the symptom. The coach is going to tell you your left shoulder opens up, your head's coming down. They're not telling you the culprit. Very few people know what the culprit is unless they've seen this and put it together on a regular basis, okay? So the legs drive the racket. Watch where my racket is, and my legs are driving the racket into the position. What most people do, the racket is leaked anywhere from 10 to 100%. It still works, but it's not optimal. Remember, when it's all said and done, the leg drive initiates the racket speed. Now, you can drive the legs the other way anywhere from here to here. Now, if the racket's out to the outside a little more, and players did this, Sampras, Songa, Roddick, okay, there's many players, Isner, you can get a little more racket head speed, and you can actually get more spin, but this is more complicated to drive it from here. A lot of players get into this position, Federer, team, I could go on and on. What happens is, this is a little trickier, but you get a little more value. It's been proven, backed up by science, the racket will go faster and more spin. But I recommend, okay, just understand the concept. Anywhere from here to here, at the end of the day, the legs drive the racket in. What will happen then? You'll get shot up in the air quicker and faster into what we call a dynamic cartwheel. And everybody that finally gets this, they say the same thing, Rick, I'm higher, I feel like I'm coming off the ground quicker, I'm reaching up for the ball. A lot of times what we do when we teach this, I put everybody on probation so I can work on the vertical component of the serve. That's for another video. So remember, at the end of the day, try to make sure the legs go before the racket, and I guarantee you'll understand the serve, you're gonna get a lot better.